our personal favorite friend. Dude, Tucky?
Okay, I'd like to call the July 11th, 2023 meeting to order. Start with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence to remember the service and sacrifices of the armed service members who protect our nation and the first responders who protect our neighborhoods.
Council President, if I could add, I'd like to add the family of Lorraine Benderoff. She was a tax collector at Rockaway Township for over 25 years, and she passed away on Monday, June 26th.
Thank you. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander.
Here.
Councilwoman Noon.
Here.
Councilman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Sackett.
Here.
Councilwoman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Salberg.
Here.
Councilman Vojtovich is absent. Vice President Quinn.
Here.
President Chris.
Here. Notice of this meeting was sent to the Daily Record and the Star Ledger, the official newspapers for the Township of Rockaway, in compliance with Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Additionally, notice was posted on the Township website, the official bulletin boards of Rockaway, and filed in the office of the Township Clerk. Agenda item number 6 is the approval of the minutes for the June 13th Township Council regular meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon.
Yes.
Councilman Brooks.
Yes.
Councilman Sackett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks.
Yes.
Councilman Salberg.
Yes.
Vice President Quinn.
Yes.
President Chris.
Yes, it's 8 yeses, motion passes. Agenda item 6B is the approval of the June 13th Township Council executive session minutes. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander.
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon.
Yes.
Councilman Brooks.
Yes.
Councilman Sackett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks.
Yes.
Councilman Salberg.
Yes.
Vice President Quinn.
Abstain.
President Kretz.
Yes, that's 7 yeses, 1 abstention, motion passes. Okay, we are going to move on to the open to the public portion. Before we do, just a couple sidebar. One, I am happy to see so many people exercising their rights to speak here. That being said, we need to be clear on what the ground rules are. We need to be respectful to each other, all right? There's not going to be any, back and forth. Members of the public should not be addressing any individual members of the council, and I would remind the council to not get into individual discussions with residents. You're going to be limited to a 3-minute period as a standard. If you do not follow the guidelines, I am going to ask you one time to sit. If you do not sit, I am going to ask the Sergeant at Arms to have you removed. Okay, I expect everybody to conduct themselves accordingly and with respect both ways. That being said, I know that there's been a lot of talk about an agenda item tonight regarding a ordinance for a flag, either a pride flag or the United States flag or any other flag. There is nothing on the agenda tonight regarding a flag. Okay, again, pride, USA or otherwise. All right, that being said, let's be respectful to each other. We are going to start with Michael Ilardi.
Michael Ilardi, 19 North Brookside Drive. I brought this up a couple other times. The stop lines at corners, especially in White Meadow Lake. I know North Brookside Drive and West Lake Shore is an issue, and Algonquin and North Brookside is an issue. And I was told in the fall that they were done until spring, and then I saw the line stripers doing at least the yellow lines in the spring, and still no stop lines. So if that could be looked into, because people don't stop at corners, they go halfway into the intersection. Maybe the stop line will help them know where to stop. Can't guarantee that. Somebody, I think maybe the last meeting I saw on YouTube, who lives in White Meadow Lake was complaining about the speeding and thinks White Meadow Lake does nothing about it. Obviously, we can't control the traffic control. We have it in the newsletter every month. It's constantly said, I say it in my president's message in the newsletter, it's all White Meadow Lake residents that speed through White Meadow Lake. No one's cutting through White Meadow Lake because they'll just get lost. So it's our own residents doing it. And it's unfortunate because, you know, you see deers hit, you see turtles run over. One day it'll be a kid. But, you know, where are they rushing to? But they fly through those streets and, you know, I don't know what else to say, but it's unfortunate it's our own people doing it. I'd like to thank the police and fire department for their acting on it. We had a fire on our deck after closing. A resident called 911, police showed up, fire showed up. We looked at our videotapes. A policeman took a garbage can, dragged it down to the lake, filled it with water, dragged it to the top of the deck to pour over the fire twice. You know, the firemen were coming with fire extinguishers. So it was very appreciative and a very nice response. Sunday's big storm, I'm sure you all experienced it. As it was ending, I was out cleaning off storm drains on my street. Police drove by, asked if everything was okay. I said, yeah. A little while later, I saw the road department, Supervisor John, I don't know his last name. He's always in the area checking things out. He was driving around, he saw all the debris that was on our street. Within 2 hours, the street sweeper was there, that vacuum truck, cleaned the whole street. It was very impressive on a Sunday, late afternoon into evening, that the crew was out there with a quick response. This weekend, we have our White Meadow Lake Festival Day. I'm sure you all got invited to the parade, the administration, the council, they're all welcome. I'd like to thank the police department in advance. They're not here, but last year they were very visible, and it just helps because people get out of control. We have extra security, but they don't listen to people that say security. They didn't even listen to the police at times last year, but it is a big help when the police are there. And July 25th is our next blood drive. Thank you.
Thanks. Due to your experience, you used 2 minutes and 58 seconds. So great job for that.
This makes perfect.
I know. John Knapp.
John Knapp, 159 Valley View Drive. I would like to read a statement on behalf of Rockaway resident and Iraq and Afghan war vet Justin Norman, who lives at 60 Valley Road. The pride flag, POW flag, and any number of garrison and town flags are used to honor those in our community and who have served it. My grandmother discovered she was gay shortly after giving birth to my mother and 2 aunts. Her husband was abusive and spent no time being a family contributor. Her partner for life, who we affectionately called Graham Cracker, stepped in to be a co-parent during difficult times to raise children in the 60s and 70s. We were never allowed to discuss their love, and they were never married until we spread their ashes over Red Rock. This denial of identity is the same my father and I face daily when exploring our Native American heritage. Erasure and willful segregation through reservations given as a pittance for stolen land. Would you be offended if I flew the Cherokee flag at an event to celebrate my lost identity and those like me? I ask, as a member of LGBTQ myself, how does my existence threaten or harm you? Is it pure dogma, discrimination by result of religion? Well, I'm queer and I happen to serve in multiple America's misguided wars from 2007 to 2015. I went to combat for this country over and over again to provide for myself and a destitute family that had no opportunity. Members around me were removed from their service for their sexual identity. Good soldiers, sailors, and airmen discriminated against for archaic dogma. Many more who held their tongues died in service, protecting a nation that has denied their identity for far too long. This hate for the pride flag and against the queer community are harmful to the natural order in society. Hate has percolated through conservative Christian mindset, and I cannot tolerate it. I will fly the pride flag for my dead brothers and sisters, my living relatives and children, and the future generations tasked with correcting the challenging world we left them in. Pride celebrates acceptance of mankind as one and one of love, not hate. Direct that hate to the billionaires and corporations pilfering our natural resources, pitting us against each other in the name of social media engagement. I ask this council to reject hate and embrace love. Fly the pride flag like you're proud of all Americans who have toiled to make this country great despite lifetimes of oppression and violence. Thank you.
Karen Lambert?
Karen Lambert, 11 Valley View Drive. I have seen over the last few weeks a lot more hate in this town than I have in the last 16 years that I've lived here. This is especially concerning to me because I have a trans child, and I want that child to feel safe in this town. I want to know that he is supported and cared about, and that the bullies that he might face are going to be dealt with. It's unacceptable to say the American flag flies for everybody, because it doesn't. The American flag is being touted around this country by nationalists, and they're passing laws against our children and against our LGBTQ community. It's unacceptable. I don't care if you fly the flag or not. But at least I think the mayor should stand behind the proclamation that he made that was just copy and pasted from a previous mayor. He should actually stand behind that and put his personal beliefs aside and stand up for the people of this town that voted for him. Whether they voted for him or not, he's supposed to represent all of us, and he's supposed to be a non-biased party. This whole council is supposed to be a non-biased party. You're supposed to support your constituents. That includes our kids. Thank you.
Thanks. Patricia and Fora, sorry if I...
Good evening. Hi. You don't know me.
I'm sorry, just name before you begin.
Patricia
And address.
Anfora,
Address for the record, please.
and I live in Jefferson,
That's okay.
and I'm proud to say that my mayor, Eric Wilson, proudly stands with the gay community. And I have never met a man who was as non-biased as Eric. I've been living in Lake Shawnee for about 10 years now, and I've never seen anything in Lake Shawnee go on like what I just heard somebody say goes on in this town. I was asked to come here tonight to support the gay community, okay, because people know that I do. And I do for one reason. I do because I'm a Christian, and I have done volunteer work for my church for over 40 years. And in the 40 years that I've worked for my church, the Catholic Church, I've never heard anything that goes on like this, that what's going on in this country today. It is a disgrace. And all I want to say to anybody who is here tonight who is a Christian, the first thing you have to remember is what Jesus said to you, is love one another. He didn't say, love that one, love this one. He didn't say that. He said, love one another. So I'm here to remind you, as a Christian, you really need to think about that. And like she said, you don't have to fly that flag, but you have to have respect for people, no matter who they are. And I'm just really, I have a friend who killed herself many, many years ago, 25, 30 years ago. And it broke my heart. And you know why she killed herself? She killed herself because she was bullied. And I sat with her many times and I listened to her about what she was treated like because she was different. Anyway, I don't know how much time I've had. I think I've probably said enough. But I just ask you all to please try to just respect each other. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Heather Ficca?
Hi, I'm Heather Fika. I live at 14 Cherokee Ave. I'm just here to speak about Pride. I'm a new resident to Rockaway. I only moved here about 6 months ago, and I can't get over how disappointed I am to see at how exclusive and hateful things have been towards the community, and I'm an ally. I'm an ally to the community. I'm not gay or bi, and I just can't believe how so many people are just like so exclusive and so cruel to this community. It's just a community of people just trying to live their lives and do their best and get through the day, just like all the rest are. So I really just don't understand where all this hate is coming from. And, you know, there was a lady that just said she's got a trans child. Think about the children. This is what these children are growing up seeing this hate from their parents, seeing this hate from other people. Maybe they haven't realized their own identity yet, and now they're seeing all this, and they're going to be afraid to be themselves and to live and to be happy. It's terrible. I really think that we need to open our hearts and open our brains and be better than this. You know, fly the flag, don't fly the flag, but the hate has got to stop. That's it.
Thank you. April Royal?
April Royal, Hawthorne Court, Rockaway. There is no new pride, just the same old homophobia and transphobia. Acknowledging that sexuality and romantic love exist does not damage or groom children for abuse by adults. It lays a foundation on which children will build healthy, loving relationships when they themselves become adults. It's not only harmless, we've been promoting heterosexuality to children in this way from time immemorial. Are you grooming and abusing children by having them send Valentines to their classmates? Are children harmed when they bring a date to school dances? Do you, any of you, feel like you would have been better served as teens if your first loves were subject to the toxic environment you are creating for LGBTQ kids? Trans people aren't new. Their ability to live openly and authentically is. Gender-affirming care is not mutilation, but a private medical decision between the individual and, if a child, their parents, and made under the advice of a physician those parents have selected to provide the best possible medical care for their child. I went to high school with a lot of girls who returned from 8th grade summer break to start high school with a new nose. Or, as anti-trans bigots would say, having undergone an irreversible, life-altering surgery and mutilating their perfectly healthy, still developing young bodies. Protecting children's innocence does not mean cultivating children's ignorance. Parents and the members of this council will never decide who their children will love. They can only decide if this is a safe, loving, and respectful place to come home to. If your children are encountering ideas with which you don't agree, as a mother of two, I suggest that you do as I do when my children are exposed to hate speech. Parent them. Tell them why the views they have encountered do not reflect your family's values. And when your children are grown and able to confirm the facts for themselves, it is my hope that they do not reject you along with the false information you have provided them. The pride flag stands for the same right to self-identify and self-determine, to live freely and authentically with the partner of your choice, and to raise a family in any community, anywhere in these United States. When this administration rejects the pride flag, it rejects those values. To all, I quote Pablo Neruda, "You can cut down all the flowers, but you cannot stop the coming of spring." I will continue to fight for the rights and visibility of all queer people, because this is not a petty political battle to score points before an election. These are our lives. You may call a vote tonight and ban the symbol of acceptance in our community, and that issue will cease to exist for you. It does not cease to exist for the LGBTQ community, for our families, and for our allies who support us. When we marched in the Memorial Day Parade to honor the sacrifice of the many queer members of the military who gave their lives in service of a nation that denied them the basic liberty of living their full, authentic lives, we were cheered by hundreds of Rockaway residents.
You're 3 minutes, but I'll let you finish if you're almost done.
Yeah. Those residents eagerly accepted and waved the pride flag in their memory. Our pride group boasts hundreds of members, some of whom are here tonight. I urge you all individually and as a body to formally condemn the disinformation about the LGBTQ community that has found a voice in Rockaway Township. Hatred and disinformation has no place in our community and certainly should not gain a foothold in our democracy. Thank you.
Emily Coleman?
Emily Coleman, 18 Lakeshore Drive. I had a couple of things that I wanted to mention tonight, and I just feel so upset and so, I don't know, I feel embarrassed. My friends are here from Dover. Thank you so much for showing up, you guys. And when I walked in the room, the thing that I noticed most was that how certain people, like most people, want to sit in the back. Nobody wants to sit by you guys. What does that say? We can do better. We can be better. We can be together, right? We can be together. White Meadow Lake started in the 40s. Why? Why did it start? Does anybody know? Because all the lakes in this region were restricted. There were no Jews allowed. Is that what's coming next? Let us remember that we have this precious, precious place, White Meadow Lake, that was started by people that had wanted to come out of New York City, but couldn't go to Mountain Lakes because it was restricted. Couldn't go to Lake Mohawk because it was restricted. And I live there, and I'm proud of that. And I am not proud of a town that does not want to include the pride flag. Why can't we also be a welcoming and inclusive community like Jefferson, like other towns in Morris County? Why do we have to be so backwards and so hateful? I am not a hateful person. Anyway, can I tell you something else that I just have on my paper here? I would also like to talk about, the speeding in White Meadow Lake, and I would also like to mention that maybe certain people should also yield to pedestrians. I almost got run over this morning. So I stand here as an ally to all different communities, and I hope that you guys can bring people from the back of the room to the front of the room and realize the tension that is in this room is disgusting. Thank you.
Pardon me if I read this incorrectly. Juana P.
Hi, Juana Palma, 11 St. Bernard Road. I'm here again. I'm supporting American flag. Must be tough to be sitting there. We live in the best country in the world. This country gives to everyone great opportunities. This country accepts everyone, no matter what, race, religion, sexual orientation, and cultures. And that's the matter. That's why, as the first generation immigrant, I give an oath to defend this country over my country of birth. The flag represents everyone who lives here. It's a symbol of unity and freedom and should be the only one law. By supporting the American flag, you are not fascist, racist, homophobic, or whatever they're calling you. You are simply a patriotic American who believes that we should proudly fly the symbol of the country that we owe so much. I know it's not easy to be a politician at these days. You need to have guts and a strong mindset to do what is right for you voters. Be strong, have courage, and don't be intimidated by different groups. Thank you.
Thank you. Donna Marie Suziaski. Sorry.
That's okay, no problem, I'm used to it. It's Szynski. I'm a future resident. I'm gonna be moving on 1 Lakeshore Drive. And my mom is not gonna speak. She accidentally signed. She's also
It's too
Donna
late.
Szynski.
No.
Yeah, no.
She
No, she has to speak. She wrote her name. So I actually have an agenda question first, and then I want to get into the flag also. What are the requirements to receive the Strengthening Local Public Health Capacity 2024 program grants? That's a concern for me because my dad did die in Paramus, VA. My dad was a veteran in the Vietnam War. He got spit on when he came home. It was a total disgrace. I was raised a liberal Democrat. I've always supported my gay and lesbian friends, family, nieces, and now I've been talking to Gays Against Groomers because I've been having a problem with some of the ways that this has gone. During COVID, my dad died in Paramus, VA, so we were denied, obviously, seeing him, but yet the governor put COVID in the building, and the lawsuit that was settled proves that fact. Unfortunately, most people aren't aware of that. My daughter, who's now 15, was having panic and anxiety in her mask. And unfortunately, even though she had an IEP, she wasn't allowed in school in Denville. And I fought and, worked really hard to get her back into school. She needed to physically be there due to her IEP. I got a medical exemption. So that's why the agenda item's an issue for me, because I want to know how that's going to be affecting us, because Bill Gates is saying we're going to have a pandemic in 2024, and Fauci predicted the last one. So I want to make sure my family's not going to be as affected negatively as it was last time. And then yes.
I'm just going to pause your time. I'm not
Yes.
taking any time. If the administration is ready to speak on that later or, during your reports, that's fine. If not, I'm going to ask you guys to get together and then we can give you the information via email later, okay?
That'll be fine,
All right.
absolutely. And then as for the pride flag, I have no problem with somebody flying a pride flag in their home. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't forget, these things are a symbol of the entire township. And if you allow one in, okay, and Denville learned this the hard way, you can allow anybody in. So now you can have somebody that has a SWAT sticker, okay? You can have any symbol, okay, opened up, if you open that can of worms. The American flag unifies us all. My dad was hated on. I have many friends and family that are in the gay and lesbian community. I'm not afraid to have my kids around them. They're not weird. Queer, though, was a slur at one point, and my friend Chris Barrett from Gays Against Groomers did reference that several times. That used to be like calling me a Pollock, So it's something, where you gotta navigate it, you know what I mean, in a way where if everybody's unified under one flag, and as somebody who was a registered Democrat, I voted for the governor that killed my dad, I take that seriously. I still love this flag. It doesn't support any political party to me. It supports us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the community that did not fill it out would like to speak? Name and address first, please.
Maria Chacon. I am a Dover resident, 82 East Blackwell Street. This is my first time speaking here, my first time visiting. Unfortunately, it's not for a positive visit. I am one of the founders for Dover Pride in Dover. We also have a mayor who hung the LGBTQ pride flag in June, and now it's down. We also have Sandra Whitner and Carol Ruiz, who are older people who worked on the document to be read about the importance of inclusion. And we have a mayor who approved it and showed up. Nothing happened. People did not stop supporting anybody. People did not have hate groups. It was just something that you supported. There are many other towns who fly the flag. I don't know why it's becoming a political issue. It's very weird and hateful and scary. But I just wanted to let you know that we are not alone. We have a voice. We will speak up. And you have to remember that there's always elections, and everything recorded is going to be with you for the rest of your life. So I ask you to please open your minds and speak to people, not people that are gay against groomers, because that's just a weird group, but people that are inclusive. If you want to speak to me, I represent Dover Pride, you can speak to me. If you need a mentor, you could reach out to Sandra Whitner or Carol Ruiz. If the mayor needs a mentor on how to lead with inclusivity, they could speak to Mayor Blackman. And we have a candidate as well who's running. He talked about inclusivity and having committee meetings, inviting the public to be part of the committee so they could learn how to best proceed with things that happen in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. other member of the public? Just name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Lisa Ginder, and I'm on Birch Street in technically Dover, but technically Township, Birchwood. So there's 3 things I'd like to bring up this evening. The first of which actually Emily reminded me of, and that has to do with speeding around town. We have the same issue in Birchwood. I live on a through street, and just recently a car blew into a sidewall of somebody's house, of their driveway. And I think it might be due time to perhaps do an assessment of various streets in the town and to look into speed lumps or humps or bumps or whatever they're called nowadays. So that's one thing I would like to request. The second thing that I would like to bring up is obviously I'm holding the pride flag, and I'm just here to say that I, as an ally, lend my support as somebody who works in education. I see firsthand the detriment that this has on children when they are not supported. So just showing people that it is okay to be who you are and you are not harming somebody else, that brings so much light to somebody's life, and it could continue a life, which I think is critical to keep in mind. The last thing I would like to bring up is what is going on with our taxes? Can we please do something, anything? My taxes since 2016 have gone from $9,200 to $12,000. That is obnoxious for that amount of time. And something's really got to be done here because you're bleeding us dry over here. And it's my understanding that the mall had won its lawsuit and that should now be paid off. And now it's time to really reassess our annual reassessment or the looking at our tax rate, especially in a bloated housing environment. Like, I'm not going anywhere, and I'm trying to not go anywhere. I'm not selling my house. So whatever inflated value my house has is doing me no good at this moment because all it's doing is causing me to pay more and more each year. So thank you for hearing me out on all 3 items.
Okay, anybody else? Okay. Moving on, agenda item number 8, ordinances for introduction. O-23-17, an ordinance establishing the salaries for police department rank and file personnel in the township of Rockaway and the county of Morris. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, motion passes. Ordinance O-23-18, an ordinance establishing the salaries of police department superior officers, personnel in the township of Rockaway and the county of Morris. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, motion passes. Ordinance O- can we shut that? Is it that one?
It's the PBA president.
Can we shut that one off, please?
Is the PBA president getting ready to speak?
Thank you. Just throw it outside. O-23-19, amending Chapter 7, Traffic, Article 1, Section 7-6.9, Parking Prohibition, Section 7-8, One-Way Street, Section 7-10, Section 7, 10-stop intersection, Section 7-11, Yield intersection, Section 7-12, Turn Prohibitions. Guy's trying to kill me with this one. Section 7-18, Speed Limit, and Section 7-22, Do Not Enter of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Rockaway, County of Morris, State of New Jersey. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Please take the roll. No.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks.
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, motion carries. Ordinance O-23-20, ordinance amending Chapter 7, Article 2 of the revised ordinances of the Township of Rockaway in order to add new ordinance Section 65, establishing a partial Title 39 enforcement plan for the regulation of parking, standing ingress, egress, and the flow of traffic on private property owned by Pondview, Inc., identified in the official tax map of Rockaway Township as Block 11501, Lots 41, 45, 47, and Block 11502, Lot 2. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon, Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, it's 8 yeses, motion carries. All right, ordinances for public hearing and final adoption. O-23-16, an ordinance amending the salaries of certain officials and employees of the Township of Rockaway and the County of Morris. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak on this ordinance alone? Any council discussion? Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, motion passes. Before the consent agenda, just a little bit of bookkeeping. I'd like to make a motion to officially cancel the July 25th and August 22nd, the second meeting of the months for July and August.
And I'll second that motion.
Any discussion on it? Please take the roll for that motion.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, motion carries. Just for the public, it's standard, we do that every year, just to kind of let everybody know. Okay, consent agenda. A, R-23-123, B, R-23-124, C, R-23-125, D, R-23-126, E, R-23-127, F, R-23-128, G, R-23-129, H, R-23-130, I, R-23-131, J, R-23-132, L, we took K off that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. L, R-23-134, M, R-23-135, N, R-23-136, O, R-23-137, P, R-23-138, and Q, R-23-139.
Council President,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to poll J for a little discussion, R-23-132.
We can just pull it. I don't think we need a motion for that, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so I need a motion on voting for the consent agenda as is, with the exception of K, which we are not voting on, and K, which we are not voting on, and J, which we're going to vote on separately. Thank you for that, checking me on there. Gotcha. It's on my sheet. We skipped the letter, so I just want to make sure that we understand.
And I make the motion to approve it. Second. Second.
Okay, please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Selberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kritz.
Yes, so that's 8 yeses, motion carries. Discussion on letter J?
Council President, could Mrs. Seeger maybe just explain that one to the public?
Would you like
If you're prepared to, sure.
Okay. Yes, this is a resolution that we just finished negotiation with all 6 unions, and we're switching from Benacard to State Health Benefit RX. That will save the money and the employees' money. This is what we voted on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? All right. So we're going to vote on consent agenda JR-23-132. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please take the roll.
Councilman Friedlander,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noon,
Yes.
Councilman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sackett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Brooks,
Yes.
Councilman Sahlberg,
Yes.
Vice President Quinn,
Yes.
President Kretz.
Yes, that's 8 yeses, motion carries. Okay, new business, old business, and discussion. We're going to start with Councilman Friedlander. Very seems unprepared.
What?
We're going to start with you today.
Well, this was a quiet month. Only thing that happened is the July 4th celebration with the Historical Society at the Ford Face House. Had a nice turnout. Muskets were shot, and everybody that went, they just saw a beautiful building that represents our heritage in the 1700s. They talked about coming to the next the parade and exhibiting at Rockaway Lake, and that's really it as far as that goes. Otherwise, every other meeting is scheduled after tonight. That's it.
Councilwoman Brooks?
No report.
Councilman Sahlberg?
No report.
Councilwoman Noon? Now you're ready to go.
Just two quick things to mention. I hope everyone's having a great summer. I did get a chance to stop by very quickly at the Ford Face House. I'm sorry I didn't get to stay longer. And I just want to give a shout out to Dave Dyer. I wish he was here tonight. Last year, I got the DMV to come for the mobile unit, and he kept in contact with them, and he's getting them to come here again. The date is July 20th. They'll be here from 10 to 2 in the parking lot. It was a great turnout last time, and I think it's going to be a great turnout this time. And again, a shout out to Dave Dyer because he did reach out to the county because the passport people came. So the tentative date for that is October 16th, but that's tentative. So more to come on that in the future. Thank you.
Councilman Brooks?
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to kudos to the rec department for the spring season with the new turf fields. I know that was a little bit of an adjustment for them, but they did a fairly good job dealing with that, and just wanted to thank all the programs for their patience with trying to merge with themselves. That's about it.
Councilman Sackett?
Thank you, Council President. I'm actually a little surprised when I came in that we have a sergeant at arms. We haven't had one since 2019 when I was a council president, and we dismissed the sergeant at arms. I'm sorry that we have to have you here tonight when you could be out on the road or doing other stuff. I'm not sure why you're here. We already have an officer in the back, so I'm not sure why you're here, but thank you for being here, but I hope we don't have a sergeant at arms again. Also just want to make sure, once again, I reiterate that I support our LGBTQ+ community, and I support raising the pride flag in an area that can be agreed upon by the council and the mayor. We voted on it last year. It passed 6-3, and hopefully we can find an area that we all agree upon and raise it. Thank you.
Council Vice President?
Yes, thank you. Again, most of the committees were on summer hiatus. And again, like Manny said, a lot of them are starting up after this meeting this month. Dial-A-Ride had a great outing for people that used the service, plus the seniors at Lake Mohawk today. We got lucky with a great day. It was beautiful. We had 14 people come, and everybody enjoyed it. And more people are signing on for Dial-A-Ride, and it's one of the jewels of Rockaway Township that we give to our residents part of their taxes back, especially the ones that don't participate in any of the other programs. You know, they go to doctors,
all the time. It's great to get them out of going to doctors. They get to socialize, and they don't, a lot of them are stay at home because they're disabled, and it works out really good. And I'd like to thank administration and Veronica for that. It's working perfectly. Thank you.
Mr. Yachafano?
No report, Council President.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, got a few things. First, I have a business recognition. Many people here know them, Domenico's Pizza, located at 11 Upper Mountain Road Ave in Rockaway Township, owned by Gino and Hannah Kukovic. Originally from Italy, the family moved to White Meadow Lake section of Rockaway Township over 33 years ago. They opened their first restaurant in 2000 before moving to the current location in 2007. Unfortunately, in 2018, a fire destroyed the restaurant, causing the family to close the business for almost an entire year. Reopening in late 2018 with the help of their two sons, the family pride themselves on their large portions, fast delivery, and they tout their grandma pie, which I've had and is delicious, their margarita pie, and their chicken franchise. Over the year, the family have supported the township sports programs and community groups. Please visit our Facebook page to learn more, and please join me in supporting Gino, Hannah, and their family. And it's a great place to go if you're going to spend a Friday night sitting on the deck at White Meadow Lake, looking at the water. Stop and pick up some food there, and it's very convenient. Busy July. We had a Substance Abuse Alliance Committee that we attended. We had another ribbon cutting. North Jersey Tattoo opened up. For those of you who've been in the area a long time, it's where the old Blockbuster used to be. Business is really doing well there, going well. On the 21st, we had the Copeland graduation. I believe it's Alphonse's last graduation that he's holding there, so it was really nice. On the 1st, I did a double-header marriage, the first one so far in Town Hall, wedding at 11 and a wedding at 12. On the 2nd, the Green Pond Fire Department had their annual pancake breakfast. Artie and his team at the fire company up there do a great job, put on a nice spread. It was very nice. And on the 4th, attended the 4th of July parade in Green Pond. I don't know if anybody here is from Green Pond, but they just do a phenomenal job. First of all, I saw Mr. Skutka, who's recovering and doing great. At the end of the parade, they actually do a veteran recognition where they go around the room, they go around the area. There's probably a couple hundred people there, and anybody who's an active service member or served stands up, says their name, their branch in the military, where they served, and it's very touching and really nice, and it was really good. And then I headed over to, as Manny said, headed over to Faish House and presented a proclamation to the Minutemen who've been volunteering for, I believe, 25 years serving Rockaway Township. I want to address some of the things that came up tonight, right? So, first of all, we have a sergeant at arms at every meeting, so I'm not sure what the concern is. We've had at least one police officer at every meeting since I've been on the council. We have it every meeting, so I'm not sure, what's driving that. I heard a lot of people say things tonight that I just want to address, talking about, hate for the flag, biased, don't support the gay community, things of that nature, bullying, being bullied. I'm not sure where that comes from as it relates to me. I'm pretty sure none of you know me very well. Some of you might. They don't know, what my family history is, what my friends are, or anything like that. So to say things like that, I'm not sure where you're coming from. One thing I do know is the Pride community talks about trust and respect and treating everybody with respect. And what I've seen posted on the Pride website are, a picture of a baby drowning and a man watching it drowned and my name put on that man's face, talking about rioting, calling me a bigot, calling me a homophobe, things of that nature that have nothing to do with me. So, it has nothing to do with that flag. It has to do with any flag and trying to protect the township. I've had other groups ask me to hang their flag, and I've told them we will only fly the American flag. Again, I believe in doing what's right for people, okay? So a couple of years ago, when Mr. Sackett was being attacked by a Republican council member and being called a racist and anti-Italian, I could have sat back and let it happen. I could have done nothing. It probably would have benefited me, but I didn't. The next day, I asked for his resignation. I published something on Facebook about it. That's what I do. I do what's right by people, by Rockaway Township, by the people I know, by the people I work with. I have Mr. Sackett. I don't care what party he's in. I have him on one of the committees I've done. I've helped his son with things. Doesn't matter to me if they're a Democrat or Republican or what. I want to work with you. I want to do things with you. Mr. Friedlander at a banquet last year, didn't get recognized. He was the only council member, didn't get recognized. When I went up to speak, guess what? I recognized him and his wife. Didn't matter that he's a Democrat. I didn't really care. I recognized him because it was the right thing to do, and I try to treat people with respect. I've defended and supported both of them on numerous occasions. I've done nothing against the Pride community. I've actually done a few things in support of them that doesn't come up or anybody mentions, and I'm not going to go into it. But what I think about when I'm running the town as mayor is, how can we continue to support our first responders, right? That's a big thing. How do we provide them, with the equipment and training they need? What are we doing for our seniors? What are we doing for our children? Are we developing the right programs, the rec programs? You heard about the seniors, about the trip we just had. We're doing more things like that. What repairs need to be done to our infrastructure? I think you've seen, everybody gets the water main break notices. We're trying to evaluate and figure out what to do with that. And you heard somebody complain about taxes, and I would tell you, and I'm not, pointing fingers or anything, like, you got to look at across the board. Like, we've submitted 4 $0 increases, I believe, in the past 4 years. I don't know if the school board has. They're the vast majority of your taxes. So if you're looking for help with that, I would consider talking to them too, or going to a Board of Ed meeting. One of the things I do too is I'm trying to prevent any further litigation in the township. Some people have talked about, some of the litigation that's occurred here. That's why the ordinance isn't on the agenda tonight. We want to make sure, that it didn't present any risk to the township. The goal would be to have something out there for the council to vote on. And I think it's fair, and I think it's fair to expect that to be done. To hear Ms. Royal say this isn't a political play, it's laughable at best. When you see Mr. Sackett posting and responding to emails saying, vote for Manny and he'll put the flag up. How is that not political? How is that not driven by political means? I'm pretty sure too that prior to last election, neither one of them ever put an ordinance out for flying the flag. Now it's become prevalent, and now they're all over it. And, that's how I feel about it. This isn't about the pride flag to me. This is about protecting the township and representing everybody in our community. I have no hate. I have nothing against anybody in any special interest group. I'm here to support everybody I can as your mayor, and that's what I've tried to do for the past 2 years. And that's all I ask for tonight.
Seeger?
It's hard to follow the mayor. But,
Sorry.
Someone had a question about the Enhancing Local Public Health Infrastructure Grant. She left.
Oh, no, she's
over there.
It is money we're getting from the federal government grant to help with the programs in COVID. And if you want to have more detail about that, please call my office, and the health director, Pete's not here tonight, so he can explain to you what we do with that. But we have outreach program where we provided free COVID testing and shots and all of that, and that's what we do with the money and help people. So if you need to know more detail about that, Mr. Tabbitt would be the one to help you with that. And if you call my office, I can get you in touch with him. Or after the meeting tonight, if you leave me your name and number, he's at a conference this week. I'll have him call you next week. You're welcome. And just so you know, Rockaway Township doors have always been open. Anybody's welcome here, and we accept everybody here, and we've never turned anybody away. And I concur with the mayor, we're here for the best of everybody in the community, and we try to pull everybody together. And we do that by all our recreation program and everything we offer. Thank you.
Ms. Palmieri?
No report tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Coward?
Nothing to report.
Ms. Ferrante?
Yes, just 3 quick items. I'd like to announce that we went out to quote to improve ADA ramps in the Catholic.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Now I got it.
All right, we went out to quote to improve ADA ramps by Kathy's Lane and Old Middletown Lane. So hopefully prices come back nicely and you'll see construction in that area. We also today went out to bid to replace the water main beneath Queens Road. So again, hopefully prices come back favorably, and that will be in construction either later this year or spring of next year. And lastly, we received a grant in the amount of $25,000 from the DEP to help with stormwater quality compliance. And that's it.
Cat?
Good evening, everybody. I would just like to say, first of all, that the Rockaway Township Police Department is proud to serve our community. A couple of the things that were mentioned this evening in reference to, we appreciate the recognition on the early morning hours of June 15th. Officers responded. I just want to put some names to the officers that responded to that. So we had Police Officer Perkins, Police Officer Riley, and Police Officer Hafley responded to that fire over at White Meadow Lake Clubhouse, and because of their swift actions, they were able to obviously contain that situation where it didn't become more of a devastating problem for the clubhouse. So I would just like to recognize those officers. Officer Miller, I would also like to recognize on July 9th, he rendered life-saving treatment to a juvenile in our community, which again was an amazing thing, and it was through a lot of police work to even find an individual and then to render life-saving treatment to that juvenile. So I would like everybody just to appreciate the fact that we have officers that serve our community each and every day to make sure that we're there in your time of need. The other thing I would mention, I also heard a few things about speeding. You can certainly at any time 973-625-4000 and ask for the traffic division. We can put that on a hot list. If you have, whether it's that question or any other question, and you can't get in at that number, all right, my extension is 1086. All right, you are welcome at any time to dial 625-4000 and dial my extension. If I do not have the answer or I am not that resource, I will certainly help you to, right, and if you would like that. So again, if you would like any assistance whatsoever, you can certainly dial me directly. I'd be more than happy to make sure that I can help you if it's a police department issue or get you anywhere that you need to be and try to find the right information and help be a solution to whatever problem you might be having. All right? So, again, that being said, thank you very much.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.